Hello. Just getting connected on Instagram real quick. Hi, everybody. I am live for my weekly Q&A. If you don't know me, I'm Ashley Nassar, owner of Nassar Web Designs, and this is my weekly series. We are going to be talking all about websites this week. As always, I'll do a quick little spiel. And then I'll go over some questions that we already have, and if you have any questions, add them to the comments, and then I'll get to those when we're done at the end. So websites, this is a super hot topic. Everyone's always talking about it, and it can be a huge stress factor for people, especially when you're starting your website. Starting your business, or maybe wanting to take your side hustle to a little bit higher of a level. It can kind of be a big investment. Even if you're doing it yourself, you've got some startup fees with that, with hosting, getting your domain, just getting all that done. And then on top of that, you're trying to learn how to build a website. And it can be very overwhelming for people. But at the end of the day, this is going to be one of the best places that you can showcase yourself, showcase your business, and really just attract your future ideal clients. So I'll start with the questions, and then, like I said, if you've got any, add them to the end, or add them in the comments, and I'll get to them at the end. All right. So first question: do I need a website? Like I said, no. You can technically run a business without having a website, but it's really not recommended. If you're on social media, you can do business through there, that's fine. If you use an Etsy page, whatever, that's fine. But at the end of the day, you don't own those platforms. So Facebook owns Facebook, Instagram owns Instagram, Etsy owns Etsy, and they own everything that's on there. So that's not, you can post all your content, but at the end of the day, it's not actually yours. So having your own website, that is yours. You own your domain, you own your space on a server, wherever, whatever that may be. You own the content that's on there. You own all the images. When you upload an image to Facebook, you don't own that image anymore. Facebook does. When they say you add something to the internet and it never disappears, it really doesn't. So having a website, that is your resource for your business to always exist on. And it's, it kind of really is integral. On top of that, it adds your credibility. Again, not to say that you're not a credible business if you don't have a website, but if I go to see you on Facebook and then, I can't get to a website, I have no way to really contact you to see, see your work, I'm more likely to go with someone else where I can. And that's just, that's human tendency. We want to know who we're working with. We want to be able to see that. And so if you've got a website that really displays all that to the best of the ability, you're that much more credible. And on top of that, it adds to your SEO. So everyone's always SEO. Facebook's not adding to your SEO. You can have a Facebook page and that's fine. And that might show up when I'm Googling your business name. But at the end of the day, your website is what is searchable. That is what Google is looking at to see if you're a resource. It knows Facebook's a resource. It just happens to be your account on there. So, okay, next question. What is the best platform? So you've got all these kind of platforms out there, Squarespace, WordPress, Wix, Weebly, Etsy. I mean, it really whatever. It kind of can be overwhelming of what to use. So my ones that I always recommend are Squarespace or WordPress. And then from there, it kind of gets down into a few other technical things. So number one is, what is your site doing for you? Are you running a store off of there? Are you going to be having, some type of client portal where they are able to access information, download certain things? Are you going to be running a course on there? Are you going to be running a store? And you can do these on both of them, but, Squarespace really, it limits its functionality. And it's getting a little bit better. They're adding some more plugins, extensions that you can add on to Squarespace to really, use it the best that it can. But at the end of the day, and as it stands right now, WordPress still has the most functionality, the most flexibility. If you can program, you can get in there, completely customize things. And you can do that with Squarespace, but it's just a little bit harder. So the positive side to Squarespace is when you get a site through Squarespace, your hosting's already taken care of. They've already got the security measures in place. You get an SSL with it. So it's kind of an all-in-one feature. And their plans are pretty good. I mean, their basic plan is pretty doable for most businesses. If you got a store in there, I think there's some incentive to go to the next plan up. So, WordPress, that's not the case. It's self-hosted, so you have to host it. And so, you've got to add all that in. You can still have all that with WordPress, and you should have all that with WordPress, but it's an extra step that you have to do. So, and that kind of takes us into our next question of what about host? I've got a lot of people that use GoDaddy still. And, up until a year ago, I probably would have recommended them, especially, when you're looking for a reasonably priced place to start off with. But, service, quality, a lot of that's gone downhill. And so I really try to recommend either SiteGround, WordPress Engine, so WP Engine, and Flywheel. SiteGround is a little bit, you can get a little bit cheaper of a hosting package, but the quality is better, the security on their servers is better. I've not encountered the problems that I've encountered with some of the other hosts, i.e. GoDaddy, HostGator, Bluehost, whatever. WP Engine is, in my preference, the best. They've got amazing support. It is a little bit pricier, but you're getting your SSL built in. They've got, great security. When you go to talk to somebody, like, you can see the person you're talking to, you're having a real conversation with the person, which is something that I enjoy, and I think as a client and as any user really enjoys. You want to know who you're talking to. And then Flywheel, I don't use that really, but people who do seem to love it. So I feel confident in recommending that to people. And then kind of the last question to tie it all up is, what does my website absolutely need to have? So you can start with one page, the most minimal. People need a way to contact you. I recommend a few. So, having a contact form on there, providing your email, if you so care to, your business phone or whatever phone number you're using for that, your social media account, so that they've got a few ways to get to you. And then obviously about the business and about yourself. I think that that's the most important thing. We want to buy from people we know. We want to buy from people who we feel confident saying, like, okay, yeah. And so if I can see you and I can learn a little bit about you, I'm way more likely to buy from you, even if that's all that's on your website. Now from there, I definitely recommend having content about what you're offering at a deeper level. So, including what your business is, what your business motto is, what you're hoping to achieve, but then what are you actually offering me? Is it a product? So are you an artist? Am I getting a physical thing? Is it a service? What is that? Really making that clear to your clients or whoever is accessing your website. The less questions that they have when they're going through your things, the more confident they're going to feel going forward. And they're going to feel more confident reaching out to you and asking the things that maybe weren't on there. Photography is a really make or break deal. And this is kind of hard for people because I get it. You might not have photos of yourself. You might not have products or pictures of your products, of your services, but high quality is the biggest deal. So if you're in a situation where you can use stock photos, and as long as you're not using stock photos for a product, I think that's fine. I definitely recommend having them of you and, quality photos of that. But if you've got to use those stock photos to do some fillers, there are some really great resources for that aren't your cookie cutter, like office man and woman dating. It's just they're more personal. They look more real, but it conveys that professionalism. You know, please don't do it for your services. Like if that's, you know, there's some great apps that you can use to take some photos of your own. Doing them on the ground, that's a whole other topic of doing product photos. But you know, look at some of that stuff. There's some great apps. Snapseed is one of the best ones that you can kind of go and edit it, make it look professional and quality. And that's really just it's really gonna boost, you know, what you're putting out there to your clients. So yeah. All right, that is it. And if you have any other questions, if you're on Facebook, you can keep adding them to the comment section. If you're on Instagram, feel free to send me a message, and we'll talk next week. Thanks.